The inaugural Ohio Valley Bowl Series championship game proved to be a rematch as the Cincinnati Dukes hosted the Columbus Gladiators at Walnut Hills High School in Cincinnati, Ohio. The two teams had met in a preseason match in April, with the Dukes coming out on top 14-0. Since then, the Dukes had advanced to the Blue Collar Football League's Western Conference Championship game and made it to the Ohio Valley Bowl Series championship game by holding off the Port City Spartans 30-24 2 weeks earlier. The Gladiators made it all the way to the BCFL championship game, and 2 weeks ago they defeated the Indiana Tornadoes 20-12, led by Mike Haynes, who had 156 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. The Gladiators got the ball first, but as this pass was knocked away, they turned the ball over on downs. Cincinnati got down to the 11-yard line, but there Quinn Walker was stuffed for a loss of 4 yards. And on the next play, Kamani Murray struggled to find a receiver open. When he finally did throw it, it was picked off, and Columbus returned it all the way out to the 37-yard line. The Dukes got the ball right back when on the next play, Ricky Sparks poked the ball out, pounced on it, and gave possession back to Cincinnati. Brent Robinson followed. He burst through the line and picked up 16 yards down to the 19. But on 4th and goal, the Dukes were frustrated once again. This pass to Al Grace falls incomplete, and Cincinnati turns it over on downs. On the first play of the second quarter, the Dukes defense swallowed up Ben Kershaw, sacking him with James Myers getting the credit. But on the next play, the Gladiators finally got going. Haynes bounced around to the right side, worked through one tackle, duped a guy, and burst ahead for 37 yards down to the 45-yard line. But the Gladiators were again foiled by a fumble. This time they couldn't handle the handoff, and eventually it was Reggie Brown who came up with the ball at the bottom of the pile, giving possession back to the Cincinnati Dukes. On their next play, Murray found Al Grace open for a 21-yard pickup down to the 33, but on 4th and 12, Covion Spikes could pick up just 9 yards, giving possession back to Columbus. The Gladiators appeared to be in trouble on 3rd and 9. That's when Kershaw found Lee Saunders along the sidelines to the 41 for 14 yards and a first down. Kershaw had trouble handling the snap on the next play, and James Myers was there to cover him up for another sack. But on 3rd and 18, Kershaw went over the middle. Victor Lash picked up the 18 yards to keep the drive going. Then Kershaw quickly found James Fields. He worked ahead for 11 yards down inside the Dukes' 40-yard line. 2 plays later was another high snap, but this time James Myers picked it out of the air. He brought it back down to set up the Dukes at the Gladiators' 47-yard line. The Dukes had already picked up 1 first down when Murray found Darion Brown. He spun out of 1 tackle and worked his way down 17 yards to the Gladiators' 13-yard line. From there, it was Brent Robinson, a pitch to the right for 5 yards. Then Robinson again to the right side for 6 yards down to the 2. And after an incomplete pass, Robinson bowled his way ahead into the end zone for a touchdown, finally putting the Dukes up 6-0 with just under 30 seconds left in the first half. Neither team could do much on their opening possessions of the second half, but when the Dukes got the ball back for a second time, Robinson took this sweep around the right side. He picked up 10 yards in the Gladiators' territory. Cincinnati kept advancing down to the 25-yard line, but when Murray looked for Justin Cornwall in the zone, instead Jeremy Williams was there to pick it off for a touchback. Mike Haynes broke free again on the next play. He went through the right side, then showed off his speed before finally being spun down at the Dukes 37 for a 38-yard pickup. But on 4th down, James Myers came through once again. He combined with Howard Tidwell on this sack that ended the Gladiators' threat. the Dukes were on the march again late in the third quarter when Murray dropped back the pass, but he was picked off at the 29-yard line, and Brown had blockers in front of him and a clear path to the end zone for a touchdown that would tie the score at 6-6 with just 7 seconds remaining in the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, Robinson came out of the backfield and Murray found him for a 23-yard pickup to start the next Dukes drive. Then, on third down, Murray lofted a pass that Covion Spikes hauled in for 32 yards. But on fourth down, Murray could not connect, and the turnover on downs once again gave it back to the Gladiators. The Dukes got the ball back in almost the same spot on the field, and this time when Murray dropped back the pass, the ball was deflected and snatched out of the air by Alvin Grace. He had a clear path to the end zone, and he scored, putting the Dukes ahead 12-6 with 4 minutes and 47 seconds left in the game. The Gladiators had one final chance to tie it, but Travis Birdsong's deep pass was intercepted by Dante Jackson. He brought it all the way back inside the Gladiators' 30-yard line, and that is pretty much how it ended, with the Dukes winning 12-6. Brent Robinson paced the Dukes offense with 18 carries for 78 yards and a touchdown. Michael Haynes for the Gladiators had 11 carries for 85 yards, with 75 of those yards coming on just 2 carries. Kamani Murray completed 16 of 34 passes for 203 yards, but was intercepted 3 times. The 2 Gladiators quarterbacks combined for 48 yards passing, but were sacked 7 times as the Dukes won the yardage battle 270 yards to 104. James Myers was named the game's MVP. He was in on 4 tackles, 3 sacks, and recovered a fumble. For the Gladiators defense, Brown had 6 tackles, 2 interceptions, including the lone touchdown of the game for Columbus. With the win, the Dukes were not only able to celebrate their Ohio Valley Bowl Series championship, but also earn a spot in the Dirty Bowl in Charlotte, North Carolina, where on January 8th at 3 p.m. they will face the Carolina Predators.